Hi everyone, it's me. I am back with another video. If you're new here, I am Molly and I do book content here on YouTube. I usually talk about what I've read, what I'm hoping to read. I usually do a few tags, which is a little spoiler for this video, as well as the fact that you'll have seen the title and stuff, so not really a spoiler, but there you go. So yeah, I do anything book related, really, basically whatever I want in a way, type of thing. And I do Christian books as well as secular. It will be majority secular because I only just got into Christian last year, so I don't have that much Christian books to talk about, but as I go along I'll have more and more. So, yay! So, let's get started with talking about my video for today. So today I am doing a very timely tag called I Love Spring book tag. I could have done something else, some other tag. There are other tags that I would like to do that I've wanted to do for longer, but this is more of a time sensitive. I mean, I know there's still time to do it in terms of how long spring is, but I just wanted to get it over and done with, otherwise I'll probably forget. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, when's a better month than April to do a spring tag? You tell me, probably May, but there we go. I don't mind, who cares? So yeah, I don't, now to preface, I do not know who the original creator of the tag is, so I apologize that I haven't, linked them below. If any of you watching do know who the original creator is, do let me know and I will make sure to tag them in my description box. But the person I saw this video from is Lindsey from Books for Christian Girls. She's here on YouTube. I'm sure a lot of you watching will at least have heard of her if you've not watched her videos. I really enjoy her videos. She's lovely. If you yourself or you have young teenagers, young girls, she's a really great YouTuber and Instagrammer, and I think there's a blog website as well. She's really great for younger girls, so she's definitely one to watch, and I just enjoy watching her anyway because I enjoy reading lots of different age groups. So if you're like me, you might enjoy her as well. And either way, she's just a lovely young woman. I say young woman, I think she's only 3 years younger than me, or if not the same age as me, but anyway. So yes, I'll link Lindsey down below anyway, so you can go and see her video. So this is quite a short amount of questions. There's only 7 questions and then one tag, who do you tag. So hopefully it won't be too long, but we will see. Yeah, good luck to us all for that one. Okay, so there are 8 questions, including asking who you want to tag. So I will start from the top. Question 1. How is spring where you live? So where I live in Manchester, England, in the UK. So we do get spring. It kind of depends from year to year and from month to month and week to week and day to day. So the last couple of weeks we've had some lovely weather. It's not necessarily been overly warm, but certainly for the last few days of the 2 weeks it's been like 20 to 22 degrees, so quite warm. Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, I apologise, but depending on where you are in America, that might not be very warm. But for us that's pretty warm. That's really nice. But even in between all that, it's been lovely and sunny, and obviously we get loads of lovely different flowers, and the leaves are coming back on the trees as well. So yeah, it just depends. Sometimes we have a lovely little bout of nice weather, and then the other time we have days like it is today where it is cloudy, not overly warm but not too bad, like mid 10 degrees Celsius, like 15 degrees. It's not warm but not cold. And then rain. Not had rain yet. I don't think. I don't remember. We might have had some overnight type of thing, but not in the daytime or a little bit of spitting. So it just depends. Sometimes we can have a bit of a washout where it's just not very nice weather at all, or we go through, you know, a few days or a week or two where it's like that. So it just depends. That's one of the things about England, which is a blessing and not so much a blessing. You get a mixture of weather, you know, you don't get stuck with one type of climate or weather for a long period of time necessarily. Now, there are exceptions, of course, even here in England, but yeah. So yeah, lots of the flowers are my favourite bit, and the trees, and the weather. So basically everything to do with spring. There we go. Just say everything, Molly. It's shorter. Question 2. Most anticipated book release this spring. Now, I can't answer that question. I don't really keep a lookout for new releases, really. I have watched people's videos where they've done new releases. Some of you watching might have done those. I can't remember now, but certainly people I watch do. I know Oshina, she does those sometimes, and you know, Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction, she's another UK booktuber, and Christian booktuber, and she does those as well. And I do watch them, but I never write any of the books down if I like them. So it does mean that I save money, but it also means that when I do tags or talk to people and they ask me things like this, not that I talk to people, but in that respect, but like in terms of like on YouTube or something, like I can never really answer it because I don't really know. So I'm sure there are some anticipated releases for the spring that I have seen and heard of from fellow booktubers that I just don't remember. But because I don't remember them, I can't answer that question. I just don't keep track. I was never really much. I wasn't really someone who ever really did that much. Now and again, I would pre-order anticipated releases, but most of the time I wouldn't. Most of the time my books would be, especially growing up, it would be libraries, charity shops, my parents and grandparents buying me books, so I wouldn't necessarily know what's new. The nearest is probably Harry Potter, and even then I never read them as a kid, so it is up to you if you want to count those, but yeah, there we go. 3. Show us a book cover that makes you think of spring. And, well, the problem is there are too many of them. I have too many lovely book covers that remind me of spring. Now, one of them will get an honourable mention because I'm not going to go and get it. And that is the first and second Anne of Green Gables books, which is Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea. I'll put them up either separately or on each side. I'll figure that out when I'm editing. The versions that I've got, which is the Virago Modern Classics, I think. That's certainly where I got them from. I have one of the books here because this, yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, Virago Modern Classics. So they will get honourable mentions because they are very springy. Very springy. Love it. I also have another one which makes me think of spring, and that is the fourth Anne of Green Gables book, which is Anne of Windy Willows or Windy Populous, if you're in America and Canada or wherever else. So yeah, I think it's really springy. I mean, you look at those blossoms, you think cherry blossoms. I don't know if it is, but I would guess that it probably is. The shapes of the painting does look like of the flowers, but anyway, either way, it looks very springy. So I couldn't not do this one. This will be coming back up though, of course. And then another honourable mention is Jo's Boys. And basically, again, all of the Virago Modern Classics of the Little Women series. You can see the smaller versions of them there. There's Little Women, there's Good Wives and Little Men. Good Wives and Little Men especially, but also Little Women as well. They are all just very spring-looking book covers, including this one. So yeah, I had to mention those. I'm currently nearly finished Jo's Boys if you're interested. But yeah, I mean, all of the books, so there's a couple of questions that are kind of related to another, but basically, and I realised in hindsight, it's probably done on purpose, that a next question is kind of related to most of the spring books, because apart from a couple of them, well, no, this one in particular, but yeah, this one again reminds me of spring. I would say this reminds me more of summer, really, and actually that's when I want to read this. I've not read this. But it also reminds me of spring as well, probably because of all the flowers and the bird. Oh, it's not really a bird, is it? It's a cat with wings. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, that's really cute though. I love cats. I have one with me down here. The old one, the fat one. She's the best one. No, they're both the best. I can't pick. But anyway, so those were honourable mentions. The ones I did pick out also are ones that, well, all of the books that I haven't read I want to read. But these two are also specifically on my TBR for April, although they are also only possibilities, they're not my priorities. Unfortunately, I want them to be. But with how I have been recent in the past couple of months, I don't know if I'll get to them. But I'm going to show you these anyway. If you've seen my TBR, you'll know what they are already. But the Broken Branch, again, reminds me of spring, because of the little flowers there. It kind of reminds me of that kind of cusp of like the end of winter and early spring. Kind of like, February sort of time-ish. So yeah, that's what that reminds me of anyway. And then, oh, I didn't tell you what it is. I mean, you read it, but The Broken Branch by Erin Mangum. That's the cover. And then the next one is Jen Tuano's first book in the Matchmaker series, A Match in the Making. This also reminds me of spring, partly because of the beautiful colour of blue, shade of blue, of her dress. Well, or skirt and top, I don't know. Either way, outfit. And then also the flowers in the background as well. And just like the whole background scene. It just reminds me of spring, especially here in the UK anyway. And certainly if you're around big houses and mansions, which isn't me. But there we go. I'll have another drink of my coffee. Also, this is very springy. I wanted to have a spring mug, which I always do anyway, because I like doing that. And I couldn't decide between my big one with the flowers and the bees on it, which is very spring, or this one, which is just pink and white. And I thought I would use this one because I've not used it in a long time actually, and I do love it, and it's very spring. You can't tell in this picture, but it is a light pink. I'm a bit closer. Oh, there you go. You can sort of see because it looks a lot paler from further back. I mean, it is still a pale pink, but like you can really tell that it's pink. Question 4. Where are you going to read this spring? And I'm not quite sure what that means. I assume it's talking more about outside reading. And that just, I live in a country where we have weather, so things like being able to read outside can sometimes be a bit difficult to do. So more often than not, I will be reading in the usual places that, if you've seen my other tag videos that have a similar question on like your favourite spots to read, that sort of thing, I'll be reading inside, or as much as I can wherever I am. So like in here in my bedroom, downstairs in the living room, in cars, in cafes, my grandma's, wherever, anywhere, in the shops, although that doesn't usually happen. But yeah, anyway, so more likely it's going to be those sorts of areas. But if I can, I will read outside. So this time of year, on a slightly different tangent, but I like Bible study outside in my garden, because in the mornings we get a lovely bit of sun, and I want to try and get some sun on me because I am a bit of a pale person. Can you tell? Maybe. Just a little bit. So yeah, I like to try and get a bit of sun on me when I'm doing that, and also just to listen to all the birds and the wind, children screaming, especially during the holidays. But yeah, so I do like to do that. So I could always read in the garden as well, or in parks, but I don't really go to parks, partly because a lot of parks either don't have public toilets. Well, no, that's the main thing. They don't have public toilets, and which is an absolute shame. I understand why. It's because a lot of vandalism would happen. But to be fair, that happens in cafes too and restaurants. So what's the point? Why get rid of them? Useless for people who need toilets and people with young kids, you know? And even if you don't have a young kid and you're not disabled, sometimes people need the toilet whilst they're out and about. But anyway, I digress. I don't go to parks much, partly because of my impairments. I am physically disabled. I can walk around and stuff like that. So if you ever met me in person, which most of you watching probably is unlikely because most of you watching are in places like America and I'm here in England. Yeah, if you met me, you probably would never know that I'm disabled. Because it's not a noticeable one. Like, I don't need a wheelchair. I don't really use a stick or anything. So, yeah, stuff like walking around a lot isn't always viable. That doesn't mean I can't go to parks, because I can, and I have done. But I don't have any of that near me either. I don't drive, so I can't even just drive to the park and park somewhere and go to the park. So, yeah, there's no parks that close. There's some nearby, but it's a good walk for me. So yeah, but if I could, and when sometimes I do, so I would and will read in parks. Parks are something that I would like to do, but might not happen that often, especially in particular because of getting to the parks and the weather. But yeah, if I can, I would read in parks too. 5. Find a cover with the sun on it. Now that was really difficult, especially without digging all of my books out, and I'm not going to do that. But I was able to find one that does, well, 2 really. So one you saw, which could possibly count. You can't really see it, but it looks like you can tell there's sun. So you could count that, but I'm not going to. So that again is an honourable mention for this question. But the one that I picked up specifically is And the So Far Blue by Francine Rivers, because as you can see, the sun is shining in through the stained glass windows. And that is as close as I can find it. And I would say it counts because these are sun rays, you know, they're just coloured because of the glass. So yeah, I'm counting this one. 6. What are your favourite spring reads? Now, I don't have favourite spring reads. I have done seasonal reading, but not for very long. Is it this year or last year? Either this year or last year were the first times I tried to read seasonally. And so I don't really have favourite spring reads that I would necessarily go, oh, these are the ones I always try to read during the spring. And also I'm just not that sort of person. I often don't reread books. Now I do have to have a disclaimer here. I have reread the first 3 Anne of Green Gables books, but that's because I read them last year, and then this year Chantal from Chantal Reads All Day is doing a year of Maud, and she's going through, of course, the Anne of Green Gables because Ellen Montgomery is the author of that series. So I have reread those. But if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have reread them, or at least not so soon anyway. So yeah, I don't have favourite spring reads, but there are definitely spring books, and books that I would say could definitely be that sort of thing. So some of them I'm not going to get out, and then one of them I can use a book for as a sort of basis for the other books. So what I would say could be favourite spring reads, of course, I'm sure no one will be surprised, the Anne of Green Gables series. I would say so far the series as a whole, Although if you want to stick to only book covers, I would say the first two, Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea, are very spring reads by the covers, or at least my version of the covers. And also Anne of Windy Willows or Windy Poplars, and again because of this particular cover. So obviously things like that would, if you're going by the cover, would depend on the type of book covers that you've got, of course. But certainly for the ones I've got, but especially, I would say that so far the Anne of Green Gables goes through a whole year / multiple years, so you go through all of the seasons. So I would say so far you could read any of them in spring, or certainly the first three. I've not read 4, but I would count that too. And those of you who have read the series can either, confirm or deny that if you like. But yeah, I would definitely say you could read the whole series probably in spring. Well, not in spring, but I would say they could be spring reads is what I'm saying. But I would definitely say Anne of Green Gables so far would be my favourite spring read, certainly cover-wise. Another one that I haven't got with me is also The Secret Garden. For obvious reasons, Secret Garden, it's another children's classic as well, and I think a lot, if not all, of the covers will be very spring looking as well. And I did read that last spring in 2024, I think. So yeah, it was last year, sorry. So I read that in the spring. Gorgeous book, fantastic book covers as well. So I would say that could definitely be a favourite spring read as well. I'm trying to think. I would also say maybe not Little Women, but Little Women series again kind of goes through multiple years or a whole year. So you could certainly count that if you wanted to, or count it as the book covers, certainly the ones I've got, because as I've already shown you, even the other books here are very spring looking. They're quite bright in colour, because also the background is very similar to this, if not the same. It's like a pale, or like a cream, I'm not sure, but they're very bright looking, these covers, so you could definitely do those as well if you wanted. And I'll definitely say there's a lot of spring content in these, because again they go through all the seasons, like with the Anne of Green Gables series. So you could definitely get away with that if you wanted to. 7. Find a book with many different colours on it. Now I wasn't quite sure how many would count for many different colours, because there's a few that I would say could definitely count, and some of them definitely haven't. Well, I just wasn't sure how many would count as many colours, and would it count the brightness of the colours? Like, do they have to be bright like this one? Because I would say this could be many colours, because there's different shades of pink and red, a few different shades of green, and then you've got a little bit of the greeny blue of the sky up there. So like, this could count for many colours. But yeah, I wasn't quite sure. So the one I picked out is this one, The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. Because I would say this is many colours. I mean, it is, as a whole, mostly a green cover. But yeah, I actually found it hard to find one that had many colours, because again, I wasn't quite sure what counted as many colours either, and also I didn't want to be digging around for like 5 years, obviously not literally, to look for a cover. So I found this one and thought this would count, because I had a similar question a while ago in the tag that I did, and I know I used the Ministry of Time for that one. So that one could count, but I'd already used it, and I was like, well, I want to try and use a different book if I can. So that's an honourable mention, I guess, but yeah, wasn't quite sure. Okay, and that is all the questions. Now the 8th one is just about who do I tag. So I'm not sure who to tag. I know one of the people Lindsey tagged is someone I follow already, and that's Morgan's Endless Bookshelf, Morgan. So I'm not gonna tag her because I know she's already tagged, and I know that she has quite, I don't know when she'll get to it, I think, or something like that. Either way, I'm always unsure about tagging people because I don't want to disturb them. Well, not disturb them, I'm not actually disturbing them, but most people are busy, you know, most people have their own jobs or they've got kids. I mean, I say this, I'll probably say this with every tag I do. It's because I never like to infringe on people. Is that the right word? I don't know. I just don't want to bother people. And obviously none of them will say that I am. And, you know, I don't actually realistically think that. And I know that, you know, they'll get to it when they can, you know. Even though this is spring and time, you know, a time sensitive one, they could do it any time if they wanted to, really. And they could do it next spring, next year if they wanted to, you know, like there's no pressure with any of the tags. But I still feel like that though. I still feel like I'm, you know, bothering them. That's just me. I think, is that an anxiety thing? Probably. Anyway. I don't know who to tag, but what I'll do is, obviously, as always with any of my tags, and when I say my tags, obviously they're not ones I've created, but like, you know, any of the tags that I have done and ever will do, and I will say this with all of them as well. If you would like to do this tag, please do. I would love to see them as well, you know, tag me and tag the original creatives. You can find them, of course. Or if I know them in terms of myself, I will put them down, of course. But anyway, so yeah, it's open to everyone and anyone who wants to do it. But I think I'll tag Cheryl from Candlewick's Library. Now, it doesn't say how many to tag. So I don't have to tag loads of people necessarily, but I think I'll do Cheryl. I'll stick with Cheryl from Candlewick Library. I'm trying to think, who else? Alma from Alma's Book Journey. It'd be cool to see hers. I always enjoy her videos. She's lovely. I enjoy everyone. I think everyone's lovely who I watch. And, you know, some of you have watched my videos, which is so kind. I'll tag 3 people. I think 3 is a nice number, isn't it? It's not an even number, but that'll annoy me. Well, not really. It won't actually annoy me. I'll forget about it and just move on, but yeah. Actually, you know what? I do want to tag as well Anne from Anne in Search of Wonder. Or is it just In Search of Wonder? I don't know. But Anne from In Search of Wonder anyway. I'll tag her as well. Because I can't. I thought about her whilst I was talking and to tag her, and now I can't get that out of my head, so I want to tag her as well. So yeah, that'd be cool to see you ladies do it. Obviously, for all 3 of you, there is no pressure to do this within a certain time frame. Do it whenever you can. I know you're all busy. You all have your own kids and, you know, so, you know, kids and grandkids in Alma's case as well. So, yeah, no pressure. Obviously, there's no time. I know it says spring, but, I mean, you could still end up doing this in spring and it's still no pressure, but, you know. Anyway, I'm just over-explaining. I'm always doing this. Right. I think that's partly why I have such long videos. I'm just always over-explaining things. Honestly. Right. So, yeah. Anne, Cheryl and Alma are the other Christian booktubers I will tag. And yes, I hope you all enjoyed. I think I've done all the books. Yeah, I've done them all. Yeah. So, yeah, I hope. I'm saying yeah a lot. I could always tag them out. Edit them out. Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed. If you haven't, please subscribe. If you want to stick around, I have quite a few videos for you to look at. I have also done the odd reading vlog. I think I've only done 2. So, you know, I do different things here and there. It just all depends on how I am. So, yes. if you would like to stick around, please do. Anyway, please like and comment. You know, if you don't want to do a video but you want to join in, you could do any of these questions in the comments. You could do all of them, just one or two, whatever you want to do. In the comments if you don't want to do a video. And yeah, otherwise, you know, just chat to me in the comments. I always try to keep up with them. I'm not always very good at getting to them, but I usually do eventually. Usually within a few days of uploading, usually. But yeah, it's partly because I upload on a Saturday and the weekend is just my busiest few days, and that's not even including this week. Oh, I forgot to say, happy Holy Week, everyone. Well, if you want to call it happy. I mean, it's in the end, it's happy, you know. I mean, if it wasn't for the Passion, you know, if it wasn't for Jesus dying on the cross, we wouldn't be able to be here, you know, as part of God's adopted children. But anyway, you know, I hope you're all having a nice week and Holy Week. Hopefully I'll be uploading this the day before the Easter morning and the day he rises from the grave. So I hope you all have a lovely Easter. I hope you all aren't too busy. I've got a busy week. Lots of church services, and usually they're all right at the end. But that's okay. But no, don't edit out. I'm talking to myself already about editing this video. Okay, right, let's just get going. Thank you for watching. I hope you all have a blessed week. And yeah, happy Easter. Hopefully, if you're watching this, he's risen. So yeah. And sometimes I do things like that, and I'm like, am I being sarcastic here? And I'm like, well, I'm not meaning to be. So if you think I'm being sarcastic, I'm not. I'm just, I don't know what I am. Well, I do know what I am, but anyway. I'm just a little bit weird. So yeah, I'll leave you before I end up continuing this video for an hour. Thankfully it's not quite an hour yet, but we're getting close. It's 35 minutes, so without editing. So yeah, I'll leave you to it, and yeah, I will see you next week. Bye.